Hey Greg, afternoon.
Hi, Steve.
How are things going?
Well, going. I'm still, I'm back, but I might have to leave at some point. So yeah, I will probably not engage big work.
Yep, that definitely makes sense. Need to do what's best for yourself and your family. Definitely comes first.
So I started playing with Shell Check,
Hmm.
and especially focusing on the static checker script, which is a mine of warnings.
Yeah, so I guess on that one, Ru Ching has also been looking at that. I don't know if you've seen. So just want to make sure you don't end
Okay,
up
but
inadvertently working
yeah,
on the same thing.
good, good to know. I will touch touch base with him.
Hi guys.
Yeah, Anastasia.
Hi, Anastasios. And Shellshack even found some bugs, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, not just warnings. Bugs or dead code.
Yeah, so we're trying to use this.
Oh,
Zonko's made an issue to kind of
oh,
divide and
great.
conquer. So yeah, that's where I mean Rushing does have a PR for it. Because I've
Oh,
reviewed it and then realized it
okay.
was still in draft, so it wasn't finished.
Yeah,
But yeah, that's one to look at from a shell check point of view. Here we are. Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Maybe Ruching's made it not draft now. Or maybe this is a
Okay,
different
I'll have a
one.
look.
Mhm. Quite sure where. Oh, maybe this is the next one. Yeah.
Okay. Can you put the link in the chat? I'm feeling
Yes.
lazy.
I will do.
Yeah, I like the issues, the issue and the PR. Thanks.
Think this one. Invite update. There's a quiz list to link the PR there. I think that's probably best way.
Yeah, great.
Cool.
Mm.
Welcome, people. Sonko, Nick, Ildiko.
Hey, good morning, good afternoon.
Hi. A little bit low on numbers, but I wouldn't say we've got all the important people because that's not fair. But we've got quite a few AC members, so we can get going, I guess, and see who else can join.
Is March break also starting in the US for the kids? Do they have any break now?
Don't know, not
Okay.
sure.
Anyway, okay, we don't have any US people here. Okay, yeah, wrong crowd to ask.
Yeah, maybe because they're all on their break.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Ildiko might know.
Well, I'm technically in the US, but I don't have kids, for example, so I don't really follow the school holidays.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Yeah,
I'm
you
not
you should
100%
because
sure.
yeah, the only way so when we had no kids, we were following the holidays because then we know when places are going to be crowded, right? So if you want to have your place for yourself without kids, you look for the holidays and exclude those dates for you to go on holiday.
I mean, I'm currently in Pasadena because there is a South California Linux Expo this week from Thursday till Sunday, so I'm at a conference. So it's going to be crowded no matter
Yeah.
what.
Okay, well, let's get going. So I guess we go through the agenda. Sorry, just like things coming over the top. So we've got the hey Reaching, welcome. We've got the re-requiring of the Cocoa non-tea tests. Sorry, I should have so sorry, I'll get myself in line. So after last week, we talked about that we would enable the ZVSI checks. I've done that through GitHub, and the non-TE checks once they had got to 10 passing. On Tuesday, they got to 10 passing. There is some distinction that one of these Mondays needed rerunning because the test failed in a failure we've not seen before. So we obviously want to keep an eye on it, but I assume I've not rechecked today. But yeah, they're still passing the last couple since I took that. So I think there was quite a clamour for these to be added. So we've got some guidelines saying you need a maintainer, you need 10 passing greens, but it's not necessarily a lot of transparency in how it's done. However, we do have the required tests YAML, which the gatekeeper uses, which we aren't hooking up, which maybe is something we need to invest some more time in. But so I thought this might be a good way of getting approval for this. Just as it's a PR, we've got registered rather than just somebody going in and making things required or not, certainly for new tests. So the non-TE job and the ZVSI jobs are in here, and Greg has approved it with an AC hat. Aurelian did make the comment about the 2 retries. We had a discussion, Aurelian and I and some others yesterday, about the approach we should take. Aurelian did suggest skipping, but as we haven't seen the failure before, we wanted to let it be unskipped at the moment, just so we can understand the scope of it. Is it something that was a lightning bolt and just happened because of an infra issue or something like that? Or is it something we're going to see, which obviously would need to it being skipped? So I think Aurelian was reasonably happy with it. So yeah, I don't know what's the best way to do it if we want to. I don't know if it's an AC voting matter, but yeah, we've got this PR, so if people are happy with that, we can merge it, and then I can enable the non-TE tests to be made required as part of that. The other thing we had was, if people saw, Fabiano requested, it's going to take me a long time to find it, that the ARM CI tests also get set to be required. I cannot. Normally it's the bottom one. Here we are. Yeah, Kubernetes tests, they've also been passing for the last 10 times and have got 2 maintainers. So we had a discussion about whether, for simplicity, we just add that as a new commit onto here, or whether we want to create a separate PR. And so yeah, interested thoughts on that, and if people are happy for those to also get enabled. And I'll be quiet now.
I'm good to enable them. What's the metric policy to become non-required?
So at the moment, and that we obviously can update this, the policy is required tests is to become required, you have 10 days of passing with no relevant PR failures reported and 1 on 1 nominators. Then the expectation is that if there's a problem reported, then maintainers have 1 working day to acknowledge the issue, perform an investigation, and then either fix it or it will be not required. So So yeah, that's obviously if it fails on a Saturday, we don't want to go, oh, you didn't fix it by Sunday, so we'll
Yeah.
we'll wipe it. But that's the general expectation. So that's the thing. This isn't and it might be that the PR is a clunky way to do this. Obviously, just ticking the box in GitHub is a little bit easier, but
Yeah.
at least there's a little bit more traceability by using the PR. So I thought if we did them hand in hand, but if there's a temporary making it non-required, I probably wouldn't put a PR. We'd just say, oh, this has failed twice. Let's make it non-required. If it's fixed within the kind of day, we can re-require it because you don't
Okay,
need the
sure.
whole 10 days.
Yeah.
But if it looks like it's not going to get fixed, then we would want to update that PR.
Okay. Got it. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'm good with adding that.
Cool.
Yeah,
And
and since this is a tedious task to have each PR to enable the static checks, I would also suggest just add a commit for the ARM tests there.
cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's just the pragmatic way to do it.
Yeah.
But obviously, I'm aware that Greg has approved it based on it not having the ARM check, so I don't want to go in and I guess I could re-request a review, but don't want to go get my approvals and then slam some extra stuff in. But I can update this PR afterwards.
Okay, can revisit that offline.
Yep, that's fine. Yeah, I'll do it. I'll do it this afternoon. So is anyone against making these two CIs just for the record? Or I write that we are happy to make them.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's like I say, it's not a one-time decision. It's a continuously updating piece. Cool. Okay, the next one on, I guess you've probably got the presentation tomorrow. Have you got everything you needed from the onboarding review, or is there still inputs? I don't know if Fabiano last week had quite a lot of thoughts, but I don't know if he shared them or not.
I don't remember seeing new comments on the
Okay.
slides. So I put together a slide deck that is partially based on the onboarding one. So I will probably move some of the content back into this slide deck, and then we could try to do like a final review in terms of what else could be updated. One area that I often struggle with is the figuring out, where Kata is at the moment in terms of functionality that we should point people to, or I had a little bit of trouble with figuring out the peer pod or remote hypervisor interface feature, just because I'm not actively working with it, and finding documentation for it and figuring out like what it actually is for someone who's not working on the feature or with the feature is sometimes hard. So that might be something to look into, just as thinking about new users who are trying to figure out some of the features and functionality in Kata, like how they can do that. So that's kind of midterm comment to maybe address some of those things. And yeah, like I put together this slide, hopefully it's accurate enough. And then there are the like 2-3 slides down, those features and what's new in the release or 3.0 plus. So these are the what else should be here type of questions that I still have.
And I guess stuff like this we can work on what's the use case for it. So, for example, cloud bursting might be a good one if you've got an on-prem cluster, but you want to scale up deployment. That's where the remote hypervisor and using public cloud and stuff could be useful. So I think there's some tweaks we could do, but yeah, it's looking like a nice, much better than it was in terms of updates. And yeah,
Okay.
I think the challenge is to keep on updating it and continuously improving it, I guess. But so
Yeah. Well, oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it sounds like we still potentially want to keep the action item to review it, even if the pressing deadline isn't necessarily in place, and hopefully you've got enough of what you need for the conference.
Yeah, I mean, I submitted a beginner type of presentation, so hopefully people are not expecting a really deep dive technical overview. And there is one more Kata talk after mine, so hopefully my talk will be a nice um, introduction to the person who's following me. So that part should be okay, but I also want to make sure that the slide deck that we have on the website that people can access is up to date and provides enough information for them to get started with Kata, like get a good overview of the project. And one thing that I've been thinking about doing is like some quarterly updates on the blog about Kata. One thing again that I personally have sometimes a hard time with is trying to figure out from the monthly minor releases what to include in a blog post update and what are the things that are just so low level that it really is only meaningful for people who are really actively working on the code base. So what could be catered towards new users and potential new contributors? So what would be good to highlight as a new feature to look out for, or a bug fix that is really important? And with the release notes of every issue and little item, I can't always decide
Yep.
which is good one for that. So that kind of maybe it's a feedback in terms of maybe trying to figure out how to make it not to be an overhead for the community to point to those things and help myself and other people um, who have less deep dive developer type knowledge about the project or who are not running the project in production yet but would be interested. Um, yeah, not something that I want to solve like today, right now on this call, but something that would be nice to think about.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. We talked in the past about either trying to come up with some of this at the start of the PTGs, or maybe as part of the release process, we do have a bit which says, oh, if we want to manually edit the release notes, post on Slack and ask people. But maybe even if we just have on that Slack post, are there any features anyone wants to highlight or bug fixes anyone wants to highlight, and we could have them in the Slack thread and either transfer them into highlights in the release notes itself or collect them for here might be useful.
Yeah, I think that would be great. Like if there's a way to edit the release notes and have like a highlights section, that would be great. Again, I don't mean that we have to spend more time on documenting things than how much time it takes to put together the release. But as you say, if people have like one or two pointers that, hey, this would be really good if people knew about this particular update and have it in the highlights, that would be very helpful because then Like I'm happy to do, research in terms of how to put some more text around those highlights in a blog post. But
Mhm.
if I don't know what to research, like there are, I don't know, 40 items in every
Yep.
release note. And if I have to research all of them, then that's all I do.
Yeah,
Sometimes
that's
it's a lot.
fair enough. Yeah, and I guess closer to the time might be where we're more
Mm,
likely to remember, because I'm, yeah, certainly not.
yeah,
But
so this is a lot. If some like again,
yeah,
if I don't know the code and I apologize, but I don't know the
yeah,
code.
yeah, that's fine. And
Yeah,
like it might be
it's a
like
lot.
an example, bumping the kernel might be a notable change that we just pull out. It's not super interesting, but
But
more
still, it's
interesting
something to
than
note. Yeah.
updating. Some of these are like CI fixes and stuff like that, which are hopefully not relevant to any users. So yeah, that's something we can have a think about.
Awesome. Thank you. That would be really, really helpful. So I'm happy to work with you all again to figure out how not to make this really an overhead.
Mhm.
Hopefully, just like, mentioning which issue is something that would be more important for people to like really know that this has changed. That would already be like really helpful to me. I
Yep.
mean, even if we just like turn the font to bold for those in the release notes, I mean,
Yep.
any little improvement would be, I think, really valuable.
Cool.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts or suggestions on that?
Maybe let's try to target the next community or AC call
Mhm.
with the slide review. I will do my best to figure out what content from the slides for the conference to put into the overview deck, and then maybe we could really briefly just run through the slides, maybe on this call if we have time, and just, have a quick glance so people can spot anything that's deeply inaccurate or not correct, and anything that just like jumps at you all that is missing. Maybe we could try to do that, and, or we could schedule it for the PTG if you all feel that we should spend a little more time on the slides and have like a little slide working session. Not a long one, just to look it through, because I understand that everyone is so busy. So it's hard to schedule it within the work hours. And if you have to prioritize between fixing CI and look at the slides, I would also suggest to look at the CI rather. So maybe we could figure out a way to have a tad bit of working session when we are sort of together.
Yeah,
And
I
then
think
we can just close it.
yeah, if we have an AC with a bit of time, I think that would be useful, because like that was from last week when we briefly showed them and talked about them. That was where like Fabiano had a bunch of suggestions and stuff. So trying to capture some of those in online might actually be more effective than offline. So yeah, I guess if if we have spare time at the end of one, then that might be a good topic to visit. If we don't manage to get around to it, then maybe PTG would be a better spot for it.
Okay, great. Then I'll keep an eye on when we have time, and if we don't get to it till the PTG, which is in a month, so we should start prepping for that as well in terms of deciding the time frame and things like that. So it's a good reminder to myself. Then I'll make sure to add it to the agenda.
Cool.
Thank you.
On the vulnerability management team, we kind of been kicking this down the can a little bit about updating it. So I just took the action. So I think I removed Eric, Samuel, and Feng, who are not active in the community anymore. I've left Thierry as a kind of open infra, although Jeremy also is the owner of the group, I think. So there's probably double oversight there, but it's a bit trimmed down but yeah, we talked about having a process to either have people volunteering to get in. I think we might want to look at the GitHub tooling rather than doing it whilst we're still on Launchpad, and then people have to create new IDs and stuff like that. So but at least we've trimmed up a little bit, so some people are not so involved on it. Zonko, have you had any chance to have a look at the GitHub tooling for security reporting yet?
Not yet. I'm putting
Okay.
it to the agenda today.
Okay.
We are, as you said, we are kicking this down for a long time. Let's
Yep.
take some actions. Yeah.
Cool. And then the metrics tests, we talked quite a bit about those. So I've did a whole load of rework on them under this PR. We are getting there. So the Cloud Hypervisor, this is the nightly past, and QEMU, we've got the IPEF ones are not working. So there is an issue around, I don't know quite what it is, but something seems to be corrupting containerd config. I hope it's not Kata deploy, but when we get to this point, we find that the node isn't responsive anymore, and it's because the containerd socket is not responding. So basically, we get to the point where our Kubernetes cluster we're testing fails. I've basically been doing a whole load of, to get some of these passing, a whole load of manual resets of the cluster, but obviously we want to narrow down on what is actually causing the problem. I don't know if there's still something within the metrics, because it does a whole bunch of restarts of containerd. Don't necessarily understand why, and if that's needed, but yeah, we are not in an amazing spot, and I still need to make it. I luckily I added some job global timeouts on these because we keep on hitting them, whereas it used to just hang forever as part of my rework. But we need to make it a bit more intelligent so it's not doesn't hang until the job kills it, which I thought I'd done, but obviously it wasn't working. So there is still some more work to do, but at least we can run the metrics tests, albeit on Cloud Hypervisor and a subset of the QEMU ones, and we are getting some values. So we've got, for some regression test purposes, we can show we've not completely broken stuff. So obviously, again, as we talked a lot on here, we want to have some better performance testing. So we were looking to just see if we could get the metrics tests to spot serious issues, and we are sort of in that space, albeit I have to do a load of cluster resets a couple of times a day to get these. So definitely not where it should be, but we are getting there. I don't know if anyone else has got any thoughts or comments on the metrics issues, or sorry,
I
go
just
ahead.
wanted to share that I was also curious about why this containerd thing happens when we restart it, because it delays a lot. So there must be something wrong in the way that we leave the cluster. Maybe we don't leave it sane. I'm not sure.
Yeah, so we do. So the containerd config is updated. I need to try and capture and work out if there's something that's going wrong at Kata deploy, which seems unlikely, but maybe there is, or if it's something that's going wrong related to this restart, initialize the environment piece. But one of the ways I've been restarting it is I basically will just redeploy the default containerd config default and restart it, and then basically that's enough to get the cluster back running. So it is, yeah, something in our code that's, or something in this test that is causing the issue, which is obviously not great, but yeah, one of those things to so basically I don't think I'm sharing my screen. I think I'm just sharing the browser instead. But yeah, it went in, the node was in. Let me stop and share the whole screen so you can see. So yeah, this is the cluster. So sorry, I should have actually perhaps the issues with the socket we're seeing. So yeah, some issues. Yeah, so basically you have problems with the dialing the cluster, and so the node goes into not ready state, and all I've been doing to reset that is just update the containerd config file, then restart containerd, and then restart kubelet, and then we go back into ready state. I have had a look through the journal log, and there is quite a bit in there, so I might have missed stuff. It's not particularly obvious what is going wrong to me in the config. There's some issues around like trying to delete namespaces and stuff like that, but that's the kind of next thing I need to, or we need to dig into, because yeah, there's like plugin config issues and stuff like that. So that's the kind of next thing, is to work out what is it. I don't think it's likely to be Kata deployed, but maybe there's something in the metrics tests, because for people's reference, adding Kata deploy is something that I added apart from in this latest PR to update it. It used to do a manual install, so it would manually just extract the tarball into the binaries and then manually update containerd to point to it. So it might be there's still some logic with that kicking around. I don't know why Cloud Hypervisor seems to be more stable though, because that does seem to be fine, whereas it's the QEMU specifically. But yeah, needs a little bit more poking around and understanding what's going wrong with the config, but at least we are in a state where you can just do a reset and then it comes back, rather than having to go and kind of manually delete a load of binaries. And it might be that we can add some of this logic to the nodes cleanup steps or something like that. But obviously it'd be better if we could fix the tests and not break things. So yeah, that's something I will hope to debug more, but if anyone else wants to get involved, then that's fine. We can share. I know Anastasios has got access to the box, but I can add other authorization keys, and if people want to take a look at it.
Yeah, I was planning on taking a look, but the last couple of weeks have been really hectic.
Yeah, no worries. So yeah, you can see this is where we get the issue. So I'll requeue these tests, trigger the fail again, and then can try and take a closer look at the logs to understand. But when I was trying to debug it all on Friday, we were having issues where under the old workflow, different setup jobs would run and deploy and be modifying containerd in the old way. So I kind of, as I said on the PR, I just wanted to get it in where the CLH tests work, and at least we don't have competing containerd updates from various different jobs. So you can look at it in a more sane way to debug it. So yeah, we can definitely work together on that.
Cool. Yeah, I was starting looking at the iPerf test because of the other issue that I have, the network performance, which still puzzles me. Why we are saturated with one CPU, and multi-queue does nothing to improve the performance. And also, I'm wondering if we are getting, as far as I remember, there is a upper limit on how fast you can get, right, on the metric tests. Otherwise, it will be it will be marked as
Yes.
failed. Okay,
Yep.
got it. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Imagine you have a 1 gig interface, and then running iPerf, which the most of the servers have. But my 2 GPU machines, they have CX7, and those are 40 gig or 100 gig interfaces. Anyway, so this would be a immense speed up. Yeah, we need to think about how to. Maybe we should have then a separate iPerf metric test. If I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to look into iPerf because I'm interested mostly on the network performance, and then we can move from there.
Yeah, the test as is definitely are not very portable. Even just moving, and I don't know the details of the machines. I assume they are roughly equivalent because I think they came from the same source.
Yeah.
But I had to modify a bunch of stuff because they were running too quickly again. So yeah, it definitely needs, as part of the longer term performance investigation, we need a much better system. But yeah, we just wanted to try and get the current metric tests back
definitely
online so that while we are doing a more strategic thing, we can hopefully we won't cause any significant performance regressions without realizing. Cool. I figured it would be worth talking about shell check. We had some discussions of it last week's AC, but then there was a Slack thread, and just to get people on the same page, I did briefly chat through it with Greg at the start while we were here, but we've got Sonko's made a kind of list of divide and conquer some of the pieces that we're trying to pick. We've got a kind of mixed strategy. We're trying to update sections of tests at a time, but in order to try and stop regressions, I did a PR which both fixed every severity error issue and also created a new workflow which is required. Well, I don't know if I've actually made it required yet. We probably should.
Yeah.
Probably should think about that. Yeah, now it does seem to be stable. So the new shell check required basically just says only run against severity errors, which I think we had like 120 maybe, which sounds bad until we've got 7,500 of the other kinds. So this should mean that any new things that come in shouldn't cause any issues from that are error severity, but obviously we want to work on the other ones. So I should also add the shell check to this list. And obviously we'll be able to over time work towards a spot where we've got, sorry, it's not the right list, where we've got more of the shell check issues removed, and then we can start to make the whole global shell check required. So
yeah,
I guess we can have a look at where the new check shell scripts. So we are at the moment about 8,000 errors, but we've got quite a few efforts going on to improve things. So yeah.
But what's the next severity?
The next severity is warning, I believe.
Warning. Okay, well done. Yeah,
so
okay, we need to bump up all stuff. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so let me just have a look. Yeah, so warning we have more than 1,000 matches for warning. So
Yeah.
so I think that's not one we can easily do in one PR.
No.
But we should keep an eye on this, and hopefully as we get more and more fixes, like all of these build kernel ones, you've got an update that will fix those and stuff. So so they'll get done by a chunk. Fabiano's was looking at the kata deploy.sh scripts as well. So there's obviously a massive chunk in there as well. So yeah, we obviously don't want to tread on each other's toes with fixes, but yeah, we can divide up some sections, and that'll be great. And then we can slowly migrate. Hopefully we've not got any vendor stuff, because I did notice we had quite a lot of vendor issues. Oh no, these ones are fine on the original. Okay, so it's not filtered quite because we've got a vendor file in check metrics as well. So I need to update that. But yeah.
Or the original one that I posted does not have the vendor exclusion, right?
Yes, so I updated that as part of my PR.
Oh, did you update it?
Yeah. So this is the original one. I excluded the runtime vendor path, but I did not appreciate, because I was only looking at the errors at that point. We've got some on check metrics as well, vendor path. So so that's fine. We can I'll get rid of those, and that'll fix a whole bunch as well. I'll take the action item.
One thing that still is following paths. So I don't know how shell check is doing the traversal. Is it running like at the root directory and then going through each of the shell scripts? Which
That's
means
my understanding.
Yeah, but then I don't understand why the relative paths to sourced files are not correctly working. It only works if you have shell check running at the root directory, and then you can say, okay, this file is sourced from this location, and this works. But I'm seeing always this error that shell check could not follow the path, open binary, blah blah. This only happens if shell check is run in the very same directory where the shell script resides, and then even /script whatever else, or traversing the hierarchy upwards also does not work. Okay, I need to look into that, because this is annoying.
Yeah, you can see the logic that it's running for file scanning here.
Oh yeah.
And it has a big list of files that it's looking for, and then we'll go over and run the scans. So it's quite interesting. It out of the box, it runs on all files, not just script extensions and stuff like that. So which is kind of helpful, because you have shell scripts embedded in things like workflow, although we've got action that should have removed all of those.
Yeah. You don't need .sh or .bash.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
So, but yeah, this is the script that the workflow is running. At least this action. Obviously, it might be that the command line shell check is slightly different than the Ludius action shell check. So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I think we're going in a good direction with this. Obviously, it's going to be a big long-term issue, but if people want to get involved, then yeah, I think the best place is to kind of make a claim to something and put it in here, just so we don't tread all over each other.
Yeah.
And we need to tell Viner that there's a task force so he can volunteer to fix all 8,000.
Yeah, I will try something. Yeah, anyway, no worries. Let's move forward with that.
Or we could go rogue, and well, maybe not rogue, but we could try Routing's approach of that's what I want. This one, just run it on everything. Go ahead, Greg, sorry.
Yeah, so before my PTO, I started looking into that, and precisely into static checks because it's really mine of shell check warnings. And first, I started to do pretty much like in this PR, like addressing one shell check rule per commit. But I'm not sure this is how we should do for several reasons. But the two main ones are that in quite many places, we have lines that break several rules at once. And so it is quite noisy in terms of Git blame afterwards. You change a lot of stuff in different commits for no good reason. Like for example, if you're missing double quotes, and you should use double brackets tests. It doesn't bring much to do this in different commits. And given the number of warnings, in the end, you can have a lot of noise in the Git blame to unnecessary noise. And then another concern is that in some functions where you have many warnings, when you step back a bit and stop focusing on a single rule breakage, you realize that the function needs to be rewritten because it's doing something really wrong or in a too convoluted way. So I think that everyone should step back a bit. And if some piece of code has a lot of warnings, please spend some time to see if it shouldn't be fixed in some other way. For example, for the static checks, I can provide later this afternoon like 2 or 3 examples of where it's better to address all the breakage in one commit for a specific function, for example.
That's actually how I'm doing it. So you're right. So my very first static check on build kernel reworks. Yeah, can you go? Is this one? No. No, go back. Sorry, it's build sh. Sorry, yeah. So I needed to get I removed it, moved it out of the yeah. We had a discussion on how we're doing this right down there. Steve, you had a comment.
Yep.
Right. So this is an example where we are reworking the logic of how it's done.
Yep.
Because it does not work. But this is one commit, and all the other fixes are also in this one commit. So I don't see the very point, as you pointed out, Greg, that we, let's say, have a commit for parentheses, then a commit for whatever else, or for every rule. I think it should be a complete set. It's getting complicated with rootfs.sh because this one has 2k errors or something like that. So we need to think a common ground there to have a better way of dealing with that. But yeah, all fair concerns, Greg, and I think we need to. So I was trying to the QEMU stuff in this PR, and I'm seeing that that's just getting too complicated. So I will externalize them in several PRs because we said at the beginning with a PR that touches those files should also fix those. I'm reverting this. It should be a own PR for every file standalone. because then we have better coverage on the CI, and things can get very wrong if you are not under just blatantly, let's say, and spell check can be wrong in some places, especially on the QEMU scripts. It's getting wrong because it thinks it's an array, and you're trying to adding arrays to a specific variable, and it says, hey, those should be spaced, and if you space it, you just break the complete script. So it can be very, very not dangerous, but breaking a lot of things if you just follow what shell check does. And I think it's better that we are creating PRs per each file, and then creating several commits for if it's really, really huge. It shouldn't be part of any other PR, the commit. So I'm reverting this. It just can break a lot of things. And that's what I've seen with the QEMU stuff. Trying to there are some simple fixes, then just put it in a PR and it's easy. But configure hypervisor.sh, if you're just following spell check, shell check rules, it breaks the complete script and you cannot build anything anymore.
Yeah.
So I guess
I agree.
I probably set us off on this path that Ruching's copied. My motivation was to try and make the reviews easier, so you could just go, for example, the double braces one, you could go double braces and just kind of spin down and go, yep, they're all double braces, so they're fine. And I think there's some things like the double braces, double brackets that are non-controversial and easy to do in this way, but I do agree, I definitely see where you're coming from, that other things do need reworking, and so maybe there's not a one size fits all, but maybe stuff like the double braces for ease of commits. But yeah, I don't know, I guess it depends if we're concerned about making things easy to commit or making Git blame nice.
Well, precisely, for example, sorry to interrupt, one of the function that needed rework had the double braces stuff. So my concern is that if we we'll fix all rules independently, and we happen to fix all rules in some function, we won't even try to rewrite it. If we just keep focus on something we think is simple, like fixing all the needs, and shell check will start complaining, and we won't fix the shell script itself, which needs some rewriting. That was my point.
But so I don't see how just doing like a double brace fix will make the situation worse.
No, it's not following this rule for all this pattern for all rules.
Yes,
I mean,
I agree,
it's for the static checks PR. It's possible to fix everything with tons of commits that address each rule one after another, and we will consider the job to be over, even though there's still some useless code or dead code or wrong code in the shell. So I was thinking that maybe a better approach would be to, as you were saying, as one code, to have a PR for the file. And inside this PR, I would favor to have a commit per function, where you may fix several rules but if it's in a single function, you will be able to see if the function is doing something really wrong or nonsensical and fix it.
Yes, I'm happy to give it a try. I think we just need to have we need to be sensible about having hard and fast rules for everything, because for example, like this one, it's not in a function. So
Yeah.
going, oh, it needs its own commit for that single line. I think we need to have a bit of understanding where we go, here's some groups of functions that we rewrite. I think that would be amazing to have separate commits, but then maybe there's some catch-all, I don't know if I want to say a dumb fix, but fixes that don't require too much effort.
Yeah.
Because there's definitely a mix. Some of the, when I did the first one, some of them I went, oh, well, that's an obvious fix. Some of them I actually had to scratch my head and think, what are we trying to do here?
Yeah.
What? And you're absolutely right. What shell check suggested, I didn't actually use the auto fix at all in mine. I did them all manually just because for the first run through, because I went, well, what's it actually trying to say? And a few of them I kind of fixed in one way, and then as I saw different scenarios, I went, oh, that fix would work better. So iterated a few times. So yes, I think the suggestion that we don't have a mandatory each fix is independent commits definitely works. I don't think having a mandatory rule that every function has its own commit also works. I think we just need to add a bit of intelligence and find a best blend so that we get a good result and it's not impossible to review, because we also don't want, like, and I'm not saying we would do this, but it's, for example, all of the fixes together, you just kind of have I don't know, maybe it's just me being lazy with my reviews, but it would take me a lot longer to go, oh, okay, what's going on here? Oh, there's a brace check here, and there's also and maybe those are bad examples because they're quite easy to spot. But it's, you can easily miss some of the things and you go, oh, this line just changes because of that. And it's like Swanko was saying, it's that string and an array append one that you go, oh, wait, I need to think about this more. But,
and that's funny to see also that when you're using the git apply semantic stuff, you see that shell check did fix the double brackets stuff, but also it generated appropriate code. For example, HTTP statuses with it's surrounded by they're not brackets. What's the name of these already?
the braces.
The braces, yeah.
Yeah, so this one's a 2. This is all of them. So it's multiple rules merged together. I'm showing here.
Oh, it's not
No, not a single commit.
Oh, sorry. I was
was
thinking
the merge commit. No. If you say what rule shell check will only apply one rule, and that's what was done here.
okay.
So
it
he just used
doesn't
one rule. Yeah. You need always to have this include. If you don't have the include, shell check will fix all the things at once what he can do, right? So, but this was used like, okay, let's fix only one error, and it will fix only one error.
So can ignore what I've just said.
Yeah, but it might be that we say there are some rules like braces around variables, double brackets, that we are happy to do at the end or something, and maybe we say we'll do a commit that has all of the non-risky changes together. So you could include SC2250, whatever, SC2014 or whatever the double braces, and maybe as we learn to do this, we can go, oh, some things we can let shell check do for us, and maybe we shove them all in their own commit. But before that, let's go through and fix the trickier ones first.
Yeah, and definitely have them in a separate commit, which changes like logic of the function and stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. I think that was really good discussion. I'll try and write some notes up based on it, but we are out of time, unfortunately. So thanks for joining, folks, and we'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Yep. Have a good day.
Bye, Rich.